Chiefs? Did y'all forget? Don't forget.
No, I never.
Just great as this defense is. How great this defense is. How great this quarterback is. When they played another good team, another good team, they got blown out the gym.
The Eagles lost to the Commanders.
Yo, all the money went to the Niners. Vegas had a field day.
Commanders. The Eagles lost.
Hold on. You just said how great they was, right? They're a great team. Okay, so when I'm breaking down other good teams they played, first of all, the Commanders, they just got eliminated to the playoffs. They was on that run. They lost 3 in a row to get out of it. Okay, so all the other winning teams they played, they lost. The 49ers played the Chiefs, blown out. They played the Chargers, and they won. I'm just talking about winning teams. That's what we're talking about, winning teams.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to a YouTube exclusive. I'm your host, Drew, with my other host over there.
What's up? It's D. Good to see you again. Go ahead. And while you're here, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and drop some comments below. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, and that audio we heard was LeSean shit take McCoy talking about how the 49ers are not a good team because they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a guy, I think, when I see a clip coming out from him on Twitter, everyone collectively is like, why is this guy on TV? Like, he's always coming with some cold takes. He's definitely going that contrarian route. What do you think of that take he's given right now, though?
I mean, I see where his argument was coming from. If he were to articulate it better, hey, the 49ers strength of schedule was pretty weak. We both admit it. Like, I even think we even talked about it on the podcast. Like, this second half of the season, none of these teams scare me. And so I knew that they could make a pretty good run as far as that. But on the other hand, you play who's on the schedule. And the 49ers have looked awesome since the Christian McCaffrey trade. I know that the Kansas City Chiefs game was 2 days after that. Christian McCaffrey did play in a limited aspect, but this is a completely different team. The offense looks a lot more explosive with Brock Purdy. And why would we even have like power rankings by the week if we're just going to go back and be like, oh, well, 9 weeks ago they lost to the Chiefs? Like, that's a tired ass take, bro. Like, if you would have added something else, or like, hey, this element here, or comparatively, the Eagles have beat their opponents by more, whatever. The Eagles have a pretty sorry ass defense. They get scored on a lot. If you watch that Monday night game, they were getting lit up by the Packers. So I don't want to hear anything about that. Like, I think he's just salty because he is diehard Eagles and he wants the Eagles to have their like day in the sun, and it might not happen. So it is what it is.
I feel like it's a bad argument because it happened so long ago. We had a ton of injuries, and like, I don't think it's bad to be like, hey, we're a good team and we lost to a good team. Like, if we're gonna like say every team that loses a game in the NFL is not good, then none of the teams are good, because like, just going down to the good teams, like, what's their worst loss? The Bills lost to the Dolphins, who have been like a middle of the road team. The Eagles, like you said, lost to the Commanders, middle of the road team. The Chiefs lost to the fucking Colts. So if you're going to stand there and be like, hey, the 49ers aren't a good team because they lost to the Chiefs, well, like, how shitty are the Chiefs then? Because they lost to like one of the tire fires of the league, the Colts. So like, and that was like week 2. So like, I'm not holding that against them, but you're going to hold the Chiefs loss against us when we've been like, you don't win 9-10 weeks in a row in the NFL and not be good. That's like, that's so difficult to do. Any of these teams could be any of the teams like any given Sunday. So to rattle off that amount of wins and to be dominant, how the 49ers have been dominant, they're real. Like, is that even a question? Like, they're real, right?
Oh, definitely. And his argument, a better argument is like, hey, well, look at what the Raiders just did to this defense. They, Jared Stidham, coming off the bench, actually put up like almost 400 yards. So maybe they're not as good as we think. Like, that would have been a better argument, but your argument to say like the Chiefs beat them, so they're trash, that don't make any sense, bro. It's completely different team. Completely.
It wasn't that much of like a blowout for most of that game. They were actually kind of in that game, and then it like blew up towards the end. But they were going back and forth for a bit.
Second half it was a dog walking, but it is what it is. Different team.
It's a different team. Brock Purdy's the guy now. So
Yeah.
but to like pick apart every, like, yeah, we could go to every team and be like, look, listen, the Vikings, they were down whatever 30 plus points to the Colts with, and then like the Cowboys, they have some losses. Like, you can nitpick every one of these teams and be like, well, they're not a good team because of this. But then it's like, well, someone has to be at the top of the food chain, and who's hot right now? The 49ers are hot.
The hottest team in football.
That's not an argument. It's just a fact.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you were to line up all of the NFC and be like, well, who don't you want to face? I'm guaranteeing you all of the playoff teams in the NFC are going to say the 49ers.
Yeah. They look like the most well-rounded, most talented, hottest team in the league right now. Would you rather face the Vikings, who have scraped by to get every one of these wins? Or do you want to face the 49ers, who have been blowing teams out and have won like 10 games in a row?
You take the Vikings every day.
Yeah, the Vikings don't have a Nick Bosa, a Fred Warner. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, okay, if we get to the Super Bowl, now let's nitpick between the Chiefs and the 49ers. But until then, like, if the 49ers are winning games, like, I don't care how it looks. We're winning the games.
Yeah, and it's not even by like, a slim margin. There was one against the Raiders, but the rest of the time we're blowing teams out, and you have to play who's on your schedule. If you want to say like, yeah, they've played weaker teams, okay, cool. They honestly, they have. I've even admitted it, but they're blowing these teams out. You have to take care of business, and they have.
I mean, it's not to say the Chiefs haven't had like some easier games too. They play the Raiders and the Broncos and the Chargers. Like, yeah, they're a playoff team, but they are barely picking up their steam. So I don't know. I think there's been a lot of bad football teams this year, and it's kind of tough week to week to judge like who's real and who's not, because we do have these teams at the top who were dominant for so long, and now it's starting to be like, are the Eagles like really tough? Are they gonna be like one and done? Are the Vikings like, have they just been lucky all year because they win all these one score games? And like the Cowboys, can like Dak really get them there? There's question marks for all these teams, but until we get to the playoffs, it's like, hey, you've earned the right for your seeding, and we have to assume that you're a good team until you like lay an egg in playoffs.
Yeah. So give the 49ers their due process. You got to give them their flowers. They are one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now.
Do you think they play today? Chiefs, 49ers, who wins? What's the score?
It's going to be a tough game. I don't know. I'm not going to answer that.
I think, I mean, hot take, I think the Chiefs win it. Maybe a close fought battle, but that team is just like, they have not lost a step losing Tyreek Hill. It took a little bit to like get their receivers going, but they're starting to look a little bit better. Travis Kelce still looking dominant. And what's the X factor for me? Jet McKinnon has been amazing for them. He's been everything that Kyle wanted him to be for the 49ers. I think he scored like 6 weeks in a row with the receiving touchdown. And then you got Pacheco and running back. I don't know if Clyde Edwards been hurt, but I mean, he's still there. Their offense is really looking good, and they're a team that sort of pulls their defense together by the end of the year. They kind of figure things out. So I don't know. It's yeah, we have a dominant defense, but can we really slow down Mahomes, Kelce, Jet McKinnon out the backfield? It's a tough matchup.
I will say this. The last time they played, the biggest problem was they didn't score touchdowns. The 49ers did not score touchdowns. What has changed? Brock Purdy has come in, and that offense is actually scoring points. They're putting up numbers. So can they keep up with the Chiefs? Yeah, I think they can. Can the defense, if they get a little bit more of like breathing room, like the offense actually sustains drives, would they be able to hold Pat Mahomes to like less touchdowns? Probably. So it's going to be a lot closer than people would think if there is that rematch.
It's a toss up. Like, it can go either way. It really goes to like schemes and a little bit of luck and where the ball falls. But yeah, it's both ways. And I even think like saying how we score more points now, we can win these shootout games. Imagine if Jimmy played in that Raiders game. Do you think we can win? We can put up that many points with Jimmy G to come back and beat the Raiders?
No, I mean, it was proven we were not scoring that many points with Jimmy. So, like, now we are.
Yeah. I feel
It
like
is what it is.
the 49ers are equipped to win any style of game at this point. So, I don't know. Why don't you guys leave a comment? Let us know who wins the game if they play today. Chiefs, 49ers. And go and, share this with some 49ers friends. Go and like, go and subscribe. We appreciate you guys watching.
Later.